I think what we're getting, Kay, here this afternoon is an idea of the scale of what's being alleged against Jimmy Savile and against other individuals. I mean, that was a key revelation today, that the NSPCC, which has set up a hotline, has had allegations against 21 other individuals that have nothing to do with Jimmy Savile. When the NSPCC was asked whether these are alleged offenders from within the entertainment world, he was reluctant to say that. But we've all read the stories in the newspapers over the past weeks. We saw the TV programme, and although there were more and more people coming forward, I think now we have an idea of the acceptance by the investigators that the scale of this truly is big. And it's growing. I mean, I just heard the Peter Spindler, the officer in charge, talking about 13 calls that have come in today. He was asked whether he felt disappointed that the BBC, which had statements from 10 alleged victims back in December and then dropped its own Newsnight investigation, whether the BBC should have come forward. Well, he rather parried that question, but I do believe that they are concerned that the BBC didn't alert Scotland Yard at the time to what victims were saying back in December. He was asked whether he felt at this stage, and this is an assessment of these allegations, not a formal investigation, he was asked whether he felt already there was enough information there to show to him, this is the officer in charge, that Jimmy Savile was a sex offender, and he said that the facts speak for themselves. He said, we believe that Jimmy Savile had a predilection for underage girls. He also said that we are being presented with a pattern of behaviour over many, many years, and as you've heard, allegations that go back to 1959 and cover something like 4 decades. But he was also keen to point out that this isn't about investigating Jimmy Savile. He said, we're not here to investigate dead suspects, but it may be that this assessment that's going on will turn into investigations into other individuals who are still alive.
Yeah, that was going to be my question actually, Martin. Given that Sir Jimmy Savile is now dead, where can their investigation go?
Well, into other individuals in terms of criminal investigation, but the priority, the officer said, is for those victims, alleged victims who are coming forward. It's imperative that they get acknowledgement of the allegations they're making, and if they are stood up by detectives' investigations, then those victims will get, perhaps, he didn't use the word satisfaction, but they will get acknowledgement of what they're saying. At the end of this, and he said he wants to wrap it up very quickly, there'll be a report that will be written jointly with the NSPCC, and he said we will examine lessons to be learned.
Okay, just looking at your tweets actually, Martin, within the last few minutes as well. This was called quite hastily, wasn't it, this briefing from the Met?
Yes, I mean, we were surprised at how open they were with the facts and figures. We asked also whether that there was any evidence yet or intelligence to suggest that there was at the heart of the BBC a sex ring operating in the 70s or 60s and 70s. And remember, Kay, that two top DJs, well, one top DJ and one other, Jonathan King was jailed for paedophile offences, and so too was Chris Denning. He was jailed abroad in Europe, in the Czech Republic. Jimmy Savile, now allegations against a third top DJ. And of course, there have been allegations about others, so far unnamed. He said that there wasn't at this stage information to suggest there was such a sex ring. But who knows where this investigation is going. As I've already said, today 13 more calls. There is that hotline for the NSPCC for alleged victims to ring. And of course, people are being encouraged by newspapers particularly to come forward with their stories of involvement with or abuse by Jimmy Savile and others at the BBC. So although Peter Spindler, the commander in charge, is keen to wrap this investigation up quickly, he really doesn't know where it's going to lead and how extensive it might become.